Hello, let's talk about how to overcome stress and anxiety, how to deal with stress and anxiety, and how to prevent them, according to the teachings and the writings of the Alter Rebbe, Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi, the founder of Chabad movement. And first of all, we have to ask why those questions bothered him. One of the most important understanding that he had, and he wrote about them, is the purpose of our living is to overcome, to change undesirable emotions. When you do not, when you are suffering from undesirable emotions, that means what? That means that you are in the center. It's all about you. The Alter Rebbe, Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi, wasn't a psychologist, but he knew that when everything is around you and you are in the center and you are bothered only what will happen with you and what other people thinks about you and how you will overcome the next task and how you will pay the mortgage, etc., you won't be able to push you forward, to let you reveal your own powers, to make you grow, to make godliness a part of your life, because it's all about you. And you have to get out of yourself a bit and to adopt a broader perspective to reality. So it presents three methods in order to overcome undesirable emotions, especially stress and anxiety, and we will define stress and anxiety through those methods. And let me just go briefly on the three methods, and then we'll open them. Maybe in this video, we'll work only on the first one. The three methods are, the first one is walking by, the method is the road, the course that you have to adapt is walking by taste and knowledge. In Hebrew, it will be al pi ta'am v'dat. It's the main idea there is to use your mind, to use different kind of meditation, contemplation. In Hebrew, it will be itbonenut, in order to overcome, to weaken your emotions. And this method is I think, suggested and presented in the most broad way in his writing and his teaching. The second one is beneath taste and knowledge, taste and understanding. It's like beneath the mind. It's not using the mind, but using other powers in your soul in order to overcome stress and anxiety. And the best example is how to dominate and how to navigate your thoughts. A person that do not know to control his thoughts. When I mean control, I mean choose what to think about and what not to think about, which borders he puts to his thoughts. If he does not know this technical work and he does not do that, he will suffer from undesirable emotions, mainly stress, anxiety, because he will always think about, and it will be natural thoughts. Why? What is happening to me? What is gonna happen? What gonna happen to me? How would I pay the mortgage? What will happen if? And there is a lot if outside. You do not know what will happen in the next moment. And if you let your thoughts run away without controlling them, without choosing what to think about, without putting borders to the thoughts and deciding a strong decision, to adopt a strong decision, on these things, I do not think. On those things, I allow myself to think. This is the space in which I allow my thoughts to run. And there is a lot of connection to innovation and to creativity when you decide what to think about and what not to think about, where not to let your thoughts run away. And when you do this, when you walk in this method, you do not let undesirable emotions to control you. So we said we have the first method is using your mind according to taste and knowledge, using your mind in order to weaken, in order to control and navigate and overcome undesirable emotions like stress and anxiety. We have beneath the mind, and one example was the thoughts, and we will open it and discuss it in length later. And we have a third road, which is a very important road, and it's above taste and knowledge, above your mind, using the powers, your traits in your soul that will help you to overcome stress and anxiety. And those traits, those characteristics, those powers of your soul are above your mind. Which are those? What are we talking about? In every suffering, in every undesirable emotion, each one of us is suffer for something. In each suffer, in each emotion, there is something that conceal in that. There is a huge motivation. And if we will be able to discover this motivation, we will know what motivates us, what we really want from our life. And if we will be able to know, to appreciate this motivation, we will be appreciate to change the course, the trajectory of the undesirable emotions, and to take them to a better place, to use them, to use this huge power that illuminates in us, to use it to good places that help us to grow, to achieve growth, to achieve different ways that we fulfill our life. This last road, this last method, it's a very unique method. It's not for beginners. We have to understand a bit the theory of personality, according to the Jewish theory of personality, to understand different kinds of persons in reality and what different persons suffers from, emotionally suffers from, and then to understand what motivates different people. And when you adopt this motivation, you know what is your road in life, what you should do. And stress and anxiety do not catch place when you know what is your life mission, what you have to do. It's like, in every moment, you do not ask, what do I gain from this moment? What could happen to me in this moment? But you ask, what is my mission in this moment? What should I do in this moment? What the world needs from me, not what I need from the world. And it's a huge perspective. But the result is that you are not in the center again. So let's start with the first method of the Alter Rebbe. And in order to understand this first method, we said this method, it's all about contemplation and meditating. And in Hebrew, it will be Itbonenut. This is the name of our series, Itbonenut. And it's suggestion. We have to answer a few questions before we get into these methods. First one is, what is the role of the emotions? What is the role of stress and anxiety? What they want from us? Why we have them? The second question is, what is the role of the mind? And how can we use the mind in a way that it will fulfill its mission, its role? So what is the role of the emotions? Why do we have emotions? Think about marriage, relationship without emotions. Think about relationship without emotions. It could be great relationship. Everyone knows what he does, what he have to do in the relationship. The spouse, they have, I know that what I have to do. I throw the garbage, I do my missions. She knows everything. We have intimacy, but without emotions, without feelings, there will be nothing that will connect us one to each other. It's all technically. It's like doing what you have to, but there is nothing that push you with the huge power, push you to your spouse and push you back when you are not satisfied or feel angry or something else. But when you love, what is love? Love is an engine. So the emotions and the feelings, here I do not do a separation between them. The emotions, what are the mission? To push you forward or to take you backwards. To push you forwards in order that you will be connected to the world, to your spouse, to your family, to your children, to the reality. Without emotions, it's all cold. You are not connected. Emotions are always subjective. They are always about me. Without me asking, you could tell me that healthy food is healthy. It's not enough. I will not have a connection to the healthy food until I will understand how good it is for me. Without the question, what good in it for me? There are no emotions. The emotions push you forward when you think about yourself. It's like it is taking yourself, taking your soul, and connecting it with the external thing. And that's the role of the emotions. Think about word. Think about about the creator. Think about world that the creator is creating the world, but he has no emotions there. He has no feelings there. He's like, he's just creating, he's just giving life to everything, but he has no feelings. Without feelings, he is not connected. He is there, we are here, we cannot be one. There is no combination. We do not dress in one in each other. We are not one. So the emotions, what the emotions in God's emotions does, they connect him to the world. And I cannot fall in love with somebody, with someone, with something that is not in love with me. I need those emotions. So we said the purpose, the role of the emotions is to connect you, to take you out of yourself. And the mind does not do that. The brain does not do that. The brain wants to understand, want to find the roles to choose, but it does not ask what it is connected to me. The brain does not connect me to another fellow, to my spouse. You know, you can see when somebody needs to think, he stops and he's like that and he's, okay, leave me alone. Don't push it. Don't interfere me. I want to be with myself. I want to think. When you want to think really, seriously, you reject other people. You are with yourself. This is the process of thinking. Okay, so this is the role of emotions, but there are two kinds of emotions. There are times that emotions does not fulfill their role. And we're talking about undesirable emotions. Desirable emotions push you forward. When somebody has good emotions, when he's in love with the world, when he has passion to do, and usually when you work on one area in your life and you are full of love and passion to this area, you will have it in other different spheres, different places in your life. Because when you have passion, you have passion. And when a person has passion, he's connected. He wants to get up early. But when the engine, we say that the soul is, the emotions are the engine of the soul. But when there is trouble with your engine, you can find yourself sleeping until 12 o'clock and noon and nothing push you forward to do, to act, to create, to innovate, to think about how to do things differently. Because what? Because your emotions does not push you. Whenever somebody is creating something, he is doing something, that means what? That means he has good emotions that push you forward. And if you have an undesirable emotion, it does not let this undesirable emotion, this stress or this anxiety to control him. What the undesirable emotions does, they does the opposite thing. They disconnect you. When you feel a bit bitterness or sadness, you don't want to do, you don't want to act, you don't want to cook, you don't want to invest. When you invest in something, I talked with someone who invests in high-tech companies, and he said, we firstly invest in people. We believe in people, not only in projects. And he said, if you don't love people, if you don't believe in people, you will not invest in nothing. If you do not believe in yourself, you will not go out and do things. Believe in the self, it's the first criteria, it's the first condition to do something. And when you believe in yourself, that means you love yourself. And when you have stress and anxiety, when you have undesirable emotions, what they do the opposite thing. They push you backward. They tell you, I don't want to get out of bed. I want to be under the blanket. I don't want to do anything. I want to stay in my world, to do what I have to do, only what I have to do, but not to develop myself, not to do more than I have to. You can see it in children. You can see a child that is doing everything is okay. You can mark V here, but still something is sadder. Why? Because he can do more. He can fulfill himself more. So we have desirable emotions, undesirable emotions, that's the opposite way. They do not fulfill their role. And there is something very unique in the undesirable emotions that we have to understand. In Hebrew, the emotions are also called midot, measurements. Why? Because when the emotion discovers itself in a measure, it could be measured. So it's not strong. It does not control yourself. It pushes you forwards, but let other powers in yourself to reveal themselves. Undesirable emotions are getting out of measurement. They are not in a measure. What does it mean? Try to talk with someone that suffers from despair or stress. You try to explain him. Look outside. I know there is this thing that is hard for you, but so many things, you could find kindness and happiness in so many other areas in your life. It's not all this thing that bothers you. There are a lot of other things. You don't have children. Okay, but you have life. You can fulfill your life in different ways. The Lubavitcher Rebbe didn't have children, but still he make birth to other children, to spiritual children, to all those that listen to him and walk in his paths, in his understandings of life and in his teaching and his Torah. You don't have a spouse. You don't have love now. Okay, you have problems in your marriage. Okay, but still, so many things are good in your life. Look at your children. You have so many things to do. The world needs you. But he can't. He can't adopt this perspective. He cannot look outside of his world. Why? Outside of his emotion. Why? Because his emotion, undesirable emotion, that the one that gets out of measure, controls him now. And it does not let the mind lead him and show him other perspective and give him different glasses that he will look through them, and he will through them look in reality. And now he is stuck. So the undesirable emotions are like a blockage in your soul. So this blockage does not prevent you from seeing the goodness in life. Okay, we said we have desirable emotions, undesirable emotions. Each one of us has a unique emotion, measurement, midah, that characterize him. Any mother can look at a child and sees that he has a character, he has a personality. He was born with a specific personality, and all his life he will overcome, win, use his personality. So each one of us has a different tendency to different emotion. But the main road, the main target of the human being is not to let the undesirable emotion illuminate from your soul, in your body, in a way that they are getting out of a measure. They control you. They do not let your will, your wishes, yourself, your mind to enlighten you, to illuminate in you. But they want to control. They want, in Hebrew, it's like, Ana Emloch, I want to be the king. So all the three methods that we talked about, we mentioned, have the course, their purpose is to control, is to weaken, is to overcome this undesirable emotion that want to control you. Think about somebody that suffers from anxiety. What he suffers from? Thoughts. What will happen? What people think about me? What will I be? Think about the juvenile that thinks about his body. I'm not good enough. I'm not nice enough. I won't have a relationship. My nose is too long. And thoughts controls him. And every thought is connected to an emotion. And now the emotions want to control the thoughts. We will talk about it in another video that we will talk about the second method beneath taste and knowledge. Now we're talking about using taste and knowledge. Now the main purpose of the mind, what is the main purpose of the mind in this perspective, is to weaken the emotion, to let you, we can see that when somebody is in stress, he cannot think straight. There is this notion that some stress is good for you, but we do not want somebody that is working in an hospital, a doctor, that he will be in stress. Do you think about your doctor now is taking care to different patients and he's in stress? Do you think about a general in the army in stress? When he's in stress, in the middle of the army, the whole army will be in stress. Everyone that is beneath him will be in stress. You want him calm. You want him looking at the situation and understanding what he has to do. It's like stress usually does the opposite way. And anxiety does the opposite way. When you think about what will happen, you do not think about what I need to do right now. And you are not in the moment. Think about even an example, a small example. You have a meeting in 8:30 in the morning, a.m., and you do not find the keys to the car, and you are now starting to look for the keys to the car. And if you are in stress, the more you are in stress, the less chances that you will find the keys. But if you are not in stress, now you are calm, you're living this, you're saying, okay, I'll make a coffee, and then I look for the keys. You are like living this, something that bothers you, and you do not let it control you. Then you will be able to remember where I put the keys yesterday, and now, and where should I look for them, etc. So the purpose of the mind, the Alter Rebbe says, is to weaken the emotions. He is like a navigator. He's like controlling. He's like teaching the emotions how to look. He's now open your perspective, letting you see reality in a different way. And when you see reality in a different way, the emotions is being weakened by itself. It's like you don't walk on the emotions itself. It's like you walk on the perspective, on the glasses, in which through them you look at reality. Somebody offended you, and he told you something that you are saying, how he told me such a thing. You are being offended now. And when you are being offended, you are being controlled, because you do not control yourself. The emotion control you, and he can control you. The person, usually when I want to offend someone, when I'm offending someone, it's in one purpose: to control him, to minimize him, not to let him discover his own powers, not to let him discover his potential. And now when I am being controlled, it's like my mind does not weaken my emotions. But if I will replace roles, and I will ask myself, why he told me that? What bothered him? What he had a thought. He fought his wife this morning. He has troubles in his maintenance. He does not earn enough. He's in the minus in the bank. What bothers him? Immediately, when I will start thinking about him, I will get out of the center. I won't think everything is against me, even though he told me things that, made me angry and upset, etc. Now it's not about me, it's about him. And when it's about him, the undesirable emotion does not control me anymore. I do not think too much about myself. I want to bring you a paragraph, an epistle from the Tanya, epistle 11. I think the Tanya is the most monumental books of the Alter Rebbe. He worked on it for 20 years. But in this epistle, it's like the most radical and extreme one, is speaking about how you should contemplate. When one starts to learn the Tanya, in the beginning, the Alter Rebbe says, I have answers to all of your questions. I have answers to all of the questions. But when you want the answers, you get into the Tanya, you won't find the answers. You will find some few answers in chapter 27, 28, 26, where he is discussing sadness and depression. But answers like what to do when you have stress, what to do when you have anxiety, you won't find answers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why? Because what he's trying to do to change the way you view life, to change the way you view world. There is a war out there. Who will win? Your perspective to life, the way you look at life, how you can understand life. And the news, the media, the world. When I say the world, it's everything consuming. Everything outside wants to control the way you view what is happening, to give you their perspective, to control your glasses. And the Alter Rebbe suggests that you will be the owner, you will be the one that controls his perspective. You control your mind. You will be able to decide. Why? Because when you control your glasses, when you choose how to look at reality and how to understand and to give commentary to everything that you see, when you do that, what's the result? That you control your emotions. And let me take you to the Epistel 11. In this Epistel, the Alter Rebbe it's very extreme, it's very radical, but there he presents his ideas in a very, very precise way and not in length, but very shortly. He says, when you contemplate in depth of understanding, and you will picture in your mind how we are being created ex nihilo, every moment from the beginning. One of the most important ideas in Hasidism is that the world wasn't created about 1,000 years ago, and it wasn't, or 3,000 or million years ago. Is being created. The world is being created every moment anew. That's why the name of the book, Winning Every Moment Anew. The world is being created, and you have to create, to give content to your life every moment. You have to win your own battles in order to be a part of this creation, of this endless creation. And when you understand this endless creation, now it's giving one of the most extraordinary sentences that in the Tanya. How can one think that he is suffering, or is suffering from, or he has any applications related to problems with children, problems with his health, problems with his maintenance or sustenance? How can you think that something bad is happening to you? How can you think that you are suffering? How can you think that the world is against you? It's only because you cannot appreciate and the real way the world is being built up. You're looking only the world from external point of view. If you would change your point of view, you will see that there is no evil descendant from above, and everything that you are going through is all good. And the Alter Rebbe is writing this letter in one of his hardest years in his life. He lost his daughter. He had the struggles, the battles between those who oppose Hasidism and the Hasidism. And and the economical situation wasn't so good. And he had to manage everything. And he says, like he says in the last conversation in his life, and if we will have time, maybe next time we'll talk about it. What he's saying it's all about the way you appreciate life, you appreciate yourself. Let your mind understand and contemplate and learn. And how do you do that? You have to learn. What is to learn? To learn how the world is built up. And the more you learn, the picture of reality will change by itself your emotion. Your emotions will be weakened. They won't control you. This method does not help when you are in stressed mode, when now you are suffering from anxiety. It helps to prevent it. When you are not in a chaos now in your life, and it's not burst out of you now in this moment, it's like now we are calm, now you can think about reality, think about life and death, think about the endless creation, the any moment creation that is being, any moment is anew, every moment that you sees reality in this perspective, you are enjoying the ability to be anew every moment, to see life differently. Maybe I'll finish with a story that happened to me in order, to see how you can appreciate this method of Itbonenut. And this is what we are doing. We are contemplating, and it is not a work of I understood something. It's a work of a strong decision that I want to taste this thing. I want to work on it. I want to learn. I want to develop myself. I want to be connected to those ideas. I want to see how they are connected to me. I want to, everything that I'm learning, I'm asking myself how it is connected to me. So about 5 years ago, I don't know how other writers writes, but how do I write? I go to my wife, I show her my next idea my next book, and she looks at it and says, okay, it's good, it's not good, because there is a price to any book. I wrote 10 books. Most of them have been bestsellers in Israel. They were published I forgot that I'm speaking in Hebrew, to the audience that do not really knows maybe all the books. The last 5 of them were published in the biggest publishing house in Israel, Yediot Sefarim, and the last 2 of them, The Art of Elevation, which deals with parenting and education, and the book about Upside Down, Jewish creativity. Both of the last were bought by the largest publishing house in China that is connected to the Chinese party, the Communist Chinese party. Okay, and they are about to be published in China, I think in the next few months. They have already been translated to Chinese, and it is very interesting how the ideas of Judaism will be accepted in China, and how the Chinese reader will adapt the Jewish ideas. Let's get to the story. So when I wrote The Art of Elevation, the main idea was, I told my wife, to take the ideas of the Alter Rebbe, winning every moment, and to see how we can teach parents, or how we can give parents tools in order that they will teach the children to overcome, to win their battles, to win every moment anew, to win to gain optimistic perspective to life, that you can win your undesirable emotions. So she said, okay. I got into the room. I wrote for 9 months, something like that. It's a crazy work. The beginning is very hard because you have to catch a lot of things together. At the end, after 9 months, I felt, okay, I'm smelling the end. It's like a horse that's smelling that is getting back to its place and is now happy. And it was 11 and a half. I think it was Tuesday, if I'm not wrong. And I sat on the couch and I thought to myself, 11 and a half p.m., I thought to myself, maybe I should do another coffee and walk, or I should go to sleep and wake up early with new power and new strength. And I didn't decide. I felt to sleep. And I woke up at 3, I think, 3:30 in the morning, happy, singing. And I asked myself, wow, what a good day. I told to myself, I have a full day to work, to continue, to reach, to get to the end of the book and to send it to the publishing house. I made to myself a coffee, and then I saw that somebody took my computer, and somebody took my wallet, and I had all few stuffs around it, and I had a storage hard disk that was connected to the computer. I didn't have then yet a cloud, but everything I had was in the storage, and I hid the storage when I went out of home, but usually it was connected to the computer. And I was so, wow, what happened? The story is that two of our neighbors from Arab neighbors from Yatta and the village around jumped over the wall, got into my house, stole my computer, and they ran back and they jumped back. And the end of the story, it was that they sold the computer to some kind of a dealer in Hebron. I tried to reach this dealer, but it was very hard. And they sold it for 150 shekels, something like $40, and I was ready to pay anything in order to get back the computer. I don't know who of you wrote anything in his life, but when you write one day, there is a lot of sweat. You work so hard, writing 9 months, 15 hours a day, losing it all. It was like, wow, I lost everything I did. Maybe you want the end of the story before I'll get to the end of the story of the idea of what I'm talking about. I didn't find the computer, and it was very hard because I had to decide that I'm getting back and writing again. I wrote again everything. I made a connection with this dealer from Hebron, and I told him, wow, I'm ready to give you everything. Just bring me back my computer. And he said, I'm ready. I don't want money. He was afraid a little bit because of all the noise they did. But he said, how would I know which one is your computer? How would I know? I have 1,000 computers over here. They stole 1,000 computers from the Israeli territory, and they brought it to the Palestinian territory. And then I couldn't find him anymore. I couldn't make a connection anymore, and we lost touch. I couldn't find. I hope the book, The Art of Elevation, will be published in Arabic, and maybe there will be a version in Arabic. It will be useful, I think. But let's get back to the point that we talked about. In the morning, I'm learning together with a friend who is a very prominent psychologist, and he told me, Chilik, it's artificial. You have to stay in your agony. Let place. Don't smile like that. Give place to your pain. People suffer from different things in their life, but you suffered. Something happened. You have pain. Show it. Stay in your pain. Don't smile now and jump with, okay, what do I do now? Stay like that. You know, this is a very common psychologist movement that they tell you, stay in your place, listen to your undesirable emotions, to what is happening to you. And there is something very true in that. And I told him, let's see what the Alter Rebbe is saying about that. And we opened randomly, there are 183, I think, letters that the Alter Rebbe, epistles that the Alter Rebbe wrote to different people in different subjects, and each one of them is, you can learn from it so much. And we opened randomly in a letter that he wrote to somebody that had 10,000 rubles, and he lost 8,000 of them. And he suffered now from anxiety and sadness and melancholy. And he wrote to him like that. And I felt that the Alter Rebbe is talking to me. He wrote like that. My beloved brother, be strong and be sure that God will bring you back whatever you lost in the next years. This sentence wasn't so, I don't know, maybe I would not agree to sit back and to write again. I lost 9 months of work. Maybe I would not want to write again, to sit, to push yourself, to discover the motivation to do it again. It's something unbelievable. It's like, how could I do that? And then he continued and he said, these are the measures, the emotions, the way God is controlling the words, is crashing and curing, give you grace, and then after the grace, you will find gvura, you will find boundaries, you will find that is like justice, you will find that he stopped the grace, he does not let the grace be a part of your life, and he is now telling you, oh, there is another movement in life. It's not only about grace. I can show myself whenever you are suffering. And sometimes I let you suffer. I crush you and I cure you. Why? In order that you will develop yourself. In order that you will change the way you look at life. In order that when you will understand, he's saying like that, the most important thing to get out of something like what happened to you. I lost my computer within 9 months writing. He lost 8,000 rubles. The most important thing is to remember that when somebody loves you, only then is pushing you to see reality differently. Only then is telling you, is criticize you. Don't accept criticize from somebody that does not love you, really love you and cherish you. God loves you. He now wants you to grow, to develop yourself, to be a person that controls his life, that controls everything that he does. So don't say nothing happened here. Contemplate. And by this contemplate, after you will contemplate, now you will be able to appreciate really your life. Now you will be really appreciate what happened to you, and to understand that what happened to you is not against you. And the result was that I sat another 6 months after reading this letter, and I think the book was published and now is a better book from the first version. Something good happened to me. But if you are in a mode of victimizing, you are a victim and everything is against you. And you think, why this happened to me? And sometimes it is not really connected to reality. And you do not contemplate and you do not get out yourself, you will be melancholy and stressed only because you will think why these things happens to me now. And what is stress? Stress is when I'm trying to be in two places in the same time. Why? I'm now here, I'm now driving and I'm thinking what? And I'm letting my thoughts run away. It's a bit of a stress. Try to listen to me to do another thing in the same moment. So the way to overcome stress is to know that, according to this method, is to know that you are in the right place, that everything that happens to you is precise for you. And it's not only precise for you, it's a part of your life mission. You can get out of it something to yourself. You can grow out of it. And nothing happened to nobody if it wasn't precise for the message that he should accept in life. So this is the first method, how to overcome stress and anxiety. We have more to contemplate, to use our mind, to open our perspective, to get out of ourselves. And one, small technique is whenever somebody asks you, how are you? First thing to do, change position and ask, how are you? Try to see him. Not now to be only in yourself and not to be victimized. To think about him, to think about reality, to think what you are needed in this moment. And when you does that, it's like slowly, while using this method of התבוננות, of contemplation, you think, how can, as he says in his epistle 11, how can I think that something bad has happened to me? How can I want to be in a different place? This place is the right place for me. And when thinking like that, it's not easy, but it's a part of the method. What it does to you in the Tanya, it changes your perspective. And while thinking like that, at the end, what is the result? That you cannot think that what will happen to me. Everything that happens to you is accurate to you. And every moment we can ask ourselves, this is part of reality. This is the way that the creation has been built up. That you do not know what will happen in the next moment. You do not know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what will happen the next moment. And thinking about what will happen if my daughter will go out and something will happen to her. You cannot walk like that in reality. You cannot do nothing in reality when you walk like that. So this is the main method. In each method there are a lot of techniques and tools that one can adapt. We will talk about the tools and the methods, but firstly we have to go through the second two methods that the Alter Rebbe presents. This method is not for the time that you are in stress. It's to prevent stress, and when you have times that you are a bit calmed down and now you can contemplate, learn, and weaken your emotions so they won't enlighten you in a way like they are in their source, like in a way that they are control your soul and your body. Thank you very much for now. We will meet the next time.